Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Bitcoin report for Wednesday, July 20. And just looking at the bigger picture here, I just want to look at the possibilities for things. So it's possible that we've got a wave one up here with an A wave, a B wave, 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave, the fourth wave here, and down for the fifth wave to make this low here. So it's possible, and we're tracking this with the US equities tech stocks as well, with a little move up here to the 38.2% retracement level here in 5 waves moving up through here. Secondly, it is possible to count this down here as 5 waves, as you may know, and then that would leave this wave C in over here for wave 2. So that would be another possibility at this point as well. But there's also the other possibility of just moving this out of the way for the moment and putting wave A here and putting wave B up here at a 50-60% retracement level up here in this particular instance, so back up, way back up in here for this here. So they're the 3 possibilities really, and I think they're all valid. You know, you may have preference over one than the other. I think one of the interesting points for either this one here and moving up here further, or moving this out of the way for a moment and putting wave C back here with wave 2 here and going further up at this point, the support, or I call it support rather than evidence at this point, the support for that would be the US dollar index here, because with the US dollar index from the 20th of 21 here, we've got wave 1 and 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here for the third wave, the fourth wave. And there's a good chance now that this top is in play here. Now, you could count this in 2 different ways. You could count it as 1 here and 2 here and 3 and 4 and 5. It's just that it's coming down in 5 waves here, and it's going to come down a bit further, so then it's going to start overlapping this wave 3 here. So it's probable but not confirmed that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So we've got a top in place. Now, when you think about that for a moment, if that is a top in place, well, we're going to see this move back down here somewhere. I won't go into the bigger picture at this stage, but we would see this market move further back down into this sort of area here at minimum. So if there's a top in for the US dollar index, well, then there will be a low in for, say, I mean, you can look at it many different ways, so the euro US dollar. And if there's a low in for the euro US dollar, that means that there's a low in for the DAX. And if the DAX has got a low in, and that's going to be pushing higher, well, then it follows to reason that the S&P 500 and the tech stocks, which will also have lows in and be pushing up. And we are looking at those markets pushing to the upside with Apple and so on, and they're making a nice sort of move to the upside. We're not in a position at this point to confirm that Apple can move basically past this this initial push here for this. Will it go up to this point? Well, we can't confirm that just yet. But with the US dollar index having a low in place, that gives it a bit of support for that. And obviously, if there's a low in for the if there's a high in for the US dollar index, well, then that's also going to support other markets in the S&P, like crude oil, for example, and gold won't be far off having a low, and copper and those sorts of things as well, So I think all that's quite sort of interesting, really, in that point. So we'll just see. I don't know any way of actually sort of proving anything except for in the wave structure, and we have to move past certain things. So as an example of moving past things, let's just assume for a moment that we're on the right track here as an A wave and a B wave here, and we've got 5 waves up here. So we got wave 1, and anyway, pushing up here. So let's just assume for a moment that after those 5 waves, we get to see a corrective pattern. So let's just make a simple ABC pattern here, for example, and then if the market moves, it takes this top out here, for example, and moves up here further, well, then we know that this is corrective, and that means that we must be pushing up even higher at that point, you know. So so that gives it more of a positive spin at that point, and that means we can go higher. But otherwise, we could just go to here and fade back down. So we'll need to get past this point here to say that we're going to be going higher at that point. And we know that in the bullish count we can look at this as a wave 1 here, and I'll just put a wave 2 here, probably the smaller degree. And then if we get a correction here, well, then perhaps we could label that wave 3 here, and then we could label this one back here as wave 4, and then wave 5. And let's just assume for a moment that we can label it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. Well, then we would have an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave back here. Because we got 5 waves here, that means we would have some sort of corrective pattern across the 30 area here somewhere. Excuse my grade 2 drawing, but because we've got 5 waves here, that means we would get another 5 waves moving up here further. So that could take us up to the 50-60%, but that doesn't mean that we're going to go to the moon or Mars or anything of that at that point. I mean, we could just come into the 50-60% retracement level up at this space and bring in a wave B. So then we would have to move past this point, that top, you know, in one way or another. So we would have to identify some type of correction, which would be a wave 4 at that point, because we would have wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Now, if we got that 5 waves, that larger 5 waves, well, then we can look at this being an ABC correction and then moving up again at that point. You know, how lucky do we feel? Will this happen? I mean, I don't know. It only happens if it happens, you know, and we just need to go step by step with all of this. So with the stock market, the equity markets at the moment, the tech stocks and this and that, we're pretty much looking at the same sort of pattern here with the S&P 500, the Dow, everything, you know, they've all got the same low dates here roughly, the same dates here, they've got the same intraday dates topping out here. So all the markets of that nature are moving together. So it is interesting to see the US dollar with a possible top in play. And if it is a possible top in play, well, then it puts a little bit more credence on looking at a larger 5 wave move up to this point up here. Will that happen? I really don't know, but it's something that we'll be, you know, assessing along the way. And if we do get this 5 waves, well, then we'll have a correction of an ABC, and then we'll have another 5 waves. That's all we can do. That's all I can do at this particular point in time. You know, I mean, I could say, oh, well, this is an ABC correction and that's wave 2 and we're going to the moon now, so buckle up, you know. That's not right to say that, you know. So we need to gather evidence along the way for everything, you know. So that's really it in a nutshell. We'll go in and have a look at the intraday moves in here if you like, and but yeah, it's just kind of nice to get a bit of grip on reality of the bigger picture of things. So we'll be watching the tech stocks closely and trying to figure out their counts, and also see if that US dollar turns and what support comes in for the commodities and this and that. They're all look, it's just money flow around the world, and they're all connected in one way and in another, you know, and money sitting on the side bench and then it'll come in at certain times. We are seeing quite good volume here as well. Now I'll just go to the weekly chart here. So where are we here? So I mean, obviously we're not finished for the week yet. Let's just move this out of the way and move this up a little bit. So we can see that this bar here has been really important. So we've got nice volume on this bar. We've got increased volume on this bar here, which is important. What we want to see in this move here is we want to see increased volume in that particular move. There was one market that I wasn't seeing increased volume, and that was, I haven't got this set up, but that's not what we want. That's for uploading videos and things. I'm looking for I think I'm looking for that. Right, so I wanted to have a look at total here for a moment, because it was this one. Don't worry about the count and all that. I don't even know how old that is, but what I wanted to have a look at is Yeah, this is what I noticed the other day. So this is a daily chart, and you can see how this is trending up here, but basically it's trending up, but each bar is lower volume each day. Except this bars here has just come online. So, but yeah, I mean, we're getting diminishing volume here and increasing price here, which is divergent. So, you know, this can be an A and a B and a C wave up here for this, you know. There's normally some sort of relationship between wave A and wave C, and it is extending up a little bit sort of higher here, but it's interesting to see it's at the number 1 mark here for the trillion here. So anyway, I'm not really seeing increased volume in that sphere. But the other thing too was the monthly chart here, which I'm sure we looked at yesterday as well for this. So we're seeing increasing volume to the downside on this big bar here, but we're not really seeing any increased volume to the upside here just yet. But I have to say, when we're normally looking at wave 1 to the upside in something, and I've overdrawn that, but I'm just saying normally wave 1, sometimes wave 1 doesn't really have excessive volume in it, you know. It only really comes in wave 3 coming to the upside. So I can sort of forgive that a little bit in as much. So but that's not what I really wanted to look at. Is I wanted to just look at this indicator lagging here, so the stochastic. So you know, it's not often that it's down this deep here, basically, you know. So what we could say is that the market is overstretched at this particular point in time. We can go to, this is 4 weeks, 20 trading days. We can go to 2 weeks and it'll be overlapping at this point, giving it a nice nice little where is here, we've just been keeping a bit of an eye on it, so we've got that nice crossover now for that, but also too not seeing that increased volume moving to the upside. Let me just bring this down here and move this up here. It's not such a big deal at this point, but you know, to confirm a trend, you need you know, the volume confirms the price action. So a trend being either going up or down needs increasing volume. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the volume to confirm the trend. Am I seeing that? Well, not so much, but it's possible that we want to definitely need to see it come in like nowish, you know. But anyway, let's go in and have a look at the intraday on all of this. So we'll just go back to the daily chart here for a moment. I mean, obviously there's a lot of volume in all of this here. You know, we can see that. That's obviously a good thing, isn't it? You know, but a lot of this, you know, is selling volume as well to this point. So, but I can see how the market pulses with this volume. You know, like it's coming down. I need to pull it straight over, so it's a bit hard to see at the moment like that. But anyway, not to worry too much. We'll keep an eye. That's good volume on this one. So it's kind of getting there. We're seeing increasing volume on these bars here, which is, I think we noticed that yesterday as well. So in the bigger picture, it's not there. We're picking it up in the sort of in this picture here. So the first thing that we're actually looking at with stocks is we're looking for 5 waves to the upside. In this case, we're looking for the 38.2% retracement. It will take us around the $28 mark. When we're talking number 28, we're talking, so if we look at 21, 22 and 23, that's all of group 1 there. And what we normally try to do here at 23, we call that the top of group 1, and we try to look for support on that. So if we do get support, a tested support on 23, well then straight away we can look at 25. That will be our next number. So just the Fibonacci numbers 1, 2, 3, 5 and then 8. When we talk about 8, we talk about 2650. So in this case it would be 26,650 and then the 72 in here, which would be the 27,200 in here. So this market moving up into group 2 here as the 38.2% retracement level for wave 4 is quite a valid thing. So like I said, we need to move past that to we need to see a correction in this space here before we can look to you know, to move up to the upside. And there will be I shouldn't just draw that straight up there because that's not how it's going to be. There will be another big correction across this level here for this. And hopefully we can look at it as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 to this point. And when we get those 5 waves, we'll get a classic trading levels pattern across here, which means it will look a little bit like this here. And we need to wait for that, and then we need to wait for this and pick it up over here for that. But that's what we'd be looking for to take us to the next level. That's pretty much it at this point. So this is the intraday here, and let's just sort this out a bit. So this is the same as the stock market in a way, and I understand that the way that we've counted the tech stocks up is like this, but I understand that you could count it differently as well. It's here nor there at the moment. We're still moving. So we're looking for 5 waves to the upside. This is on 5,000 ticks. It's giving a reasonable sort of up and down with this, so we can see that it's down here. We can see that that's going to push up there again, so we can buy new highs if you wanted to. And it's kind of in this level, as I mentioned before, the 23 is the top of minor group 1, so 20 is a major level, then 1, 2 and 3. Once we get tested support on here, we won't be coming back to this 20,000. What happens is it sets the price up for the medium, for the next number, which is 5 here, which is actually a medium level because it's halfway between 2 major levels. And then we've got up here got the 26,500 and the 27,200 and the 28. You'll see them play out there when we get there, but that's where that is at the moment. And we can copy that and put wave 2 here. I don't know if wave 2 is done and dusted yet. I'll just have to. No, I have to. There may be another move down here first for this. If there is another move down before we move up here, then just drop, because that can sit there actually. But then if it drops, then put it onto this one here if you're trading. But I'm just going to drop it down to the second one there. And I don't need that big thing sitting there, so I'll leave that there. And yeah, so that's it. So what we're looking for here, the indicator's suggesting that it'll push up in line with the wave count as well. So I just want to push that down and just sort of squash this up a little bit. So just to get on the same page here, this will be wave 3 here. So let's just, it's like going to kindy school or something, isn't it? Joining all the dots. So we just put this 5 wave structure up here. And we're really looking for wave 3 here, this blue wave 3, to be longer than wave 1 here, the length of wave 1. So if we take the length of wave 1 here, which I'll just take it just below that level there, that will bring in that. So we want it longer. So we can push that to there. So we need that's 100% there. So we need that longer than that. But what we normally do is look for 1618 here, so we can bring that wave 3 up to here somewhere, the 28, which would be really nice if we could get up that high. That would be fantastic, because then that means that if we can get to 28 with the third wave here, that will mean that the fourth wave will come in across group 2 here, that 26,500 and so on. But even better than that, what will happen is that we'll get this wave 5 up here, giving us a classic trading levels pattern for wave 4 across here with all of that. So I'll just dump these out the way. I don't need those. So we'll see how that how it plays out. Can't help myself. I have to put the 28 in now that I'm looking at it, because it's what I would normally do. 26.5 and 26.2 roughly. Close enough. So that will be group 2 at that point. And yeah, so look, all we can do is just sit back and observe, you know. So this will be there'll definitely be some sort of pattern. There'll definitely be some sort of pattern across here. I just don't know if it will be the intraday pattern of that, but there'll be something across here for sure. There'll be some sort of pattern like that anyway, some configuration, but we'll get there when we get there. But look, otherwise that's all looking pretty good at this point, so just keep cruising along. Ethereum will be the same. I don't need to look at that. See how that plays out. Alrighty, I'll just leave it like that. So the key points here is that the more secure that 23 can become, then you know that it's the more support that it's got at that level there, then you know that it's leaving this number here, which is really important because big numbers are like magnets, and if it's leaving this number, then it will be going to the 25 at that point, the next level there, and there'll be definitely some sort of correction there and then further upside at that point. So it'll be interesting to see how far it all goes. We'll just keep a bit of an eye on it. But yeah, all good. Alrighty, I'm just going to leave it at that. I've waffled on for too long. Yeah, we're in a trend and we want the 23 to become the tested support, because that will carry the market to the 25 at that point. And give it time. Don't try to make any decisions too early in this space here, because it will, it will vibrate a fair bit there. Alrighty, cheers.